All right, let's get into Friday feedback. You can email info@davidpakman.com. Messages and comments from all of our platforms will sometimes be included. If you have a criticism of the show, if I got something wrong, if you want to send the rare praise to the show, if I accidentally got something right for once. Anyway, you can write to info@davidpakman.com. Let's start with Maya from Spotify. Maya says, I have listened to David since I was 13 years old. I am now 18. I've never heard him this concerned. Thank you for being a voice of reason in the political sphere. Well, one of the things I've always promised to do, and I think I've done an okay job at it, quite frankly, is I don't want to under or overstate the degree to which we should be concerned about something. And sometimes I will not be as worried as someone in the audience, and I'll be getting emails saying, David, you're not nearly concerned enough about this. Sometimes I will get emails saying, David, please stop the hyperbole, stop the red alert, stop the slippery slope stuff. It is all completely and totally fine. Right now, I think we are at one of the most disturbing and worrying moments, certainly since I've been covering American politics. And I'm trying to do that justice every day and not go overboard and also not understate it. So I appreciate my seemingly thinking that I'm sort of getting the balance right. Mark Kilpatrick says, the last time store shelves were empty, Trump was the president also. This is very interesting. Very interesting. We heard so much from Trump during term number 1 that the cupboards were bare in the military when Obama was president, and Trump filled them up. And we heard so much from Trump about how the shelves would be empty if Biden becomes president, and the shelves would be empty if Harris becomes president. Well, Trump lied about the Obama thing. Shelves were empty under Trump during COVID. They were not empty during Biden. And Harris didn't win, so we don't know what would have happened under a Harris presidency, but they are potentially going to empty once again under Donald Trump. And so it is absolutely the case, sort of like when they say, we will reduce the deficit, and they increase the deficit every single time. There's a lot of do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. But the most important point and takeaway is that they are guilty of that which they most fervently accuse their opponents of doing. Piscator Lager wrote in on YouTube and said Zelensky's English skills beat Donnie's by a margin, and it's his third language. Yeah, we've talked about this before, and sometimes people go, David, it sounds so elitist when you talk about how in other countries everybody speaks multiple languages. Well, listen, maybe it's elitist. Maybe finding it elitist is actually a sign of one's own insecurities. But the United States is relatively unique in being a country in which so many people proudly say, I only speak English. And some people like to argue, the reason these other countries have to speak other languages is because no one speaks their language. And to a degree, that's true. In Sweden, in Israel, in, what's another good example? In Finland, why does so much of the population speak great English? Because their language is only spoken by a few million people. It's not the most useful language globally. But it's also an issue of culture and education. Because if you look at China, for example, a lot of people speak Mandarin and other Chinese dialects, but they still learn other languages in China. Because it's more than just a matter of necessity based on how many people speak your language. So yeah, Zelensky's language skills, say whatever you want. He's probably... I'm not going to exaggerate. Zelensky's English is close to as good as Trump's, and it's the only language that Donald Trump speaks. All right, on the tariffs and the effect on businesses, Mark Liebig wrote in and said, unfortunately, I'm in the automotive repair industry, transmission builder, and my parts have gone sky high. Unfortunately, I cannot absorb the costs and have had to raise my prices. I still do way better for the customer than a shop, but I can't eat all this. COVID damn near killed my business because of the supply chain issues. Here we go again. I'm getting dozens of messages like this. If I look just in our audience emails folder and look at tariffs, this is just of the most recent 50, kind of looking. Of the most recent 50 emails related to tariffs, more than half are either people's businesses being affected by tariffs or someone telling a story of something that they buy being affected by tariffs, or the expectation of tariffs. And I think that's a critical thing. All right. A relatively anonymous user has courageously said on TikTok, I had to unsubscribe from this guy, meaning me, when he told his audience it wouldn't matter if Biden had Parkinson's. Then wouldn't you know, he got invited to the White House Christmas party. Corporate Dem sellout. Listen, criticize me for things I've said, not for things I haven't said. What I said right around the time that Biden dropped out, or even after, was that if it's election day and the options are Trump as he is, or Biden with known Parkinson's, I would still vote for Biden. And I think most of the world would agree with that. It's not that Parkinson's doesn't matter. It's not that medical diagnoses for presidents are irrelevant. It's that if we get to November 5, 2024, and you say you can vote for Trump or you can vote for a Biden who believes all the things Biden believes, but he has Parkinson's, which obviously at this point is not affecting him very much. Obviously, I vote Biden in that situation. Okay, so criticize me for things I've said rather than what you either misunderstood or completely fabricated whole cloth. Justin Herby commented on Spotify, I've been saving money the last few years and can't wait for the economy to crash. We need a correction from the last few Democratic spending sprees, GOP 2028. So I guess this is an example of someone who's saying, I have figured out a way not to be hurt by an economic crash. And I want an economic crash, even if everyone around me is going to get hurt, to prove a political point. Doesn't make Justin sound like a very good guy, I have to say. Not at all. And of course, there are many people who share this sort of perspective. I have a different perspective. My perspective is, even though it would be a just dessert for a bunch of these Trump people to have their savings wiped out because the clueless clown that they elected wrecks the economy, even though they deserve it in some way, I still don't want it to happen. I say, no, I don't want people to suffer. It's just not in my nature. And then some people write in and go, David, you're being too kind. You should want some of these people to suffer. They deserve it. So listen, that's a view from Justin. I have a different perspective. Okay. This is just like a technical question, and I'll answer it here because it might be useful for members. How do I listen to the bonus show? I'm a paid member. I just listen to the regular show on Spotify, watch it on YouTube. Okay, so here's what you do. If you are a member, go to our website, davidpakman.com, and log in. When you log in, you will get the option to either watch the commercial-free show and the bonus show, or create a custom RSS feed that you can put in any podcast app that allows custom RSS feeds. Spotify doesn't, but Apple does. So if you're wondering where to find all the great member benefits, log in at davidpakman.com and go to member content. Okay, Ricodina says, really tired of all the deference being paid to Biden for all the policies. Congrats. He didn't do job number one, defeating Trump. He appointed squishy Merrick Garland, who completely failed in delivering justice on behalf of the people. This one error negates any progress he made during his term. Biden is chiefly responsible for Trump's return to office. His hubris and institutionalism did this to us. You know, there are kernels of truth here, but there's a lot of nonsense here as well. When you say you're tired of deference being paid to Biden for policies, what else is there if not policy? This person seems to be acknowledging you're talking about all the policies that Biden did right, but what about this other thing? Well, for me, the policies are really the number one thing. Now, I have said Biden never should have run for re-election. He should have just remained the one-term president that it seemed like he was promising to be when he was first elected. I think it was a mistake for him to run for re-election. At the same time, I think we have to place more blame with the Democratic Party more broadly, which failed in so many ways. Kamala Harris failed to credibly connect with potential voters on the issues of crime and immigration. As fabricated as those concerns were by Republicans, they fabricated them successfully. So I think that this misses a lot. And saying, forget about the Biden policy, who cares about that? No, the number one thing is policy. And in fact, if we are to evaluate Biden's presidency honestly and accurately and completely, we should start with policy. Should he have not run a reelection campaign, allowed a primary, maybe Democrats would have ended up in a stronger position? Sure. But in terms of what he accomplished, we don't dismiss that. We start with that. And I just don't agree with this perspective. Now, if Democrats, check out my op-ed, right, that I did on Wednesday. If Democrats don't get it together and figure it out, you can't just run on Trump bad. Democrats will get crushed again and again and again. So I'm with some of the criticism, but we've got to start with policy. That's how we really evaluate the success of a president. Make sure you're getting my mailing list. If the clampdown comes on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, the only place where I will be able to get a hold of you and tell you what's going on, and you get a hold of me, is if you are on our newsletter. Go to davidpakman.com. You'll see where to sign up in the upper right, or you can email info@davidpakman.com and say, sign me up for that newsletter. We will see you on the bonus show. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what the Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get the Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out The Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.